stand by me.
Stand by me.
Scout, where are you? Scout, you come here.
My name is Jean Louise, but when I was that young girl over there, they called me Scout.
Scout, you hear me?
I'm launching for Atticus.
Atticus, that's my father. Back then he seemed ancient, feeble. He was a lawyer and nearly 50. When my brother Jem asked him why he was so old, he said he got started late, which we thought reflected on his manliness. It was Maycomb, Alabama, and it was back in 1935 when I was that girl. Back when ugly words were first shouted at us. Back when Atticus gave us air rifles and asked us never to kill a mockingbird.
Your father's right. Mockingbirds just make music. They don't eat up people's gardens, don't nest in corn cribs. They'll do one thing but sing their hearts out. That's why it's a sin to kill a mockingbird.
Miss Maudie, this is an old neighborhood, ain't it?
Been here longer than the town.
No, I mean the folks on our street are all old. Me and Jem's the only children. Mrs. DuBose is close on 100, and Miss Crawford's old, and so are you and Atticus.
Not being wheeled around yet, neither's your father. You're lucky. You and Jem have the benefit of your father's age. If your father was 30, you'd find life quite different.
I sure would. Atticus can't do anything.
You'd be surprised. There's life in him yet.
What can he do?
Quite a lot. Seems to me you'd be proud of him.
We lived over there. Atticus, my brother Jem, and Calpurnia, our cook, who raised us. Calpurnia was all angles and bones.
You come inside and wash up before your father gets home.
I said I wasn't ready.
Get in there.
Calpurnia's hand was as hard as a bed slab. My mother died when I was 2, so I never felt her absence. But I felt Calpurnia's tyrannical presence for as long as I could remember.
The water's too hot.
Keep scrubbing.
Even in 1935, Maycomb, Alabama was already a tired old town. People moved slowly then, and somehow it was hotter. A day was 24 hours long, but seemed longer. There was no hurry, for there was nowhere to go. Nothing to buy, and no money to buy it with.
Lack of money is no excuse to let a place go like that. At the least, they could cut the Johnson grass and the rabbit tobacco. But of course, they're Radleys.
Miss Stephanie Crawford, a neighborhood scold. She was also your principal source of information about Boo Radley.
Once, Boo Radley was sitting in the living room, cutting some items from the Maycomb Tribune to paste in his scrapbook. As his father passed by, Boo drove those scissors into his parents' leg, pulled him out, wiped him on his pants, and resumed his activities. Boo was then 33. Mr. Radley said no Radley was going to any insane asylum, so he kept him home, where he is till this day.
How do you know? How can he be sure he's still in there?
Because I haven't seen him carried out yet.
Jem and I had never seen him. People said Boo Radley went out at night when the moon was down. When azaleas froze in a cold snap, it was because he breathed on them. A baseball hit in the Radley yard was a lost ball and no questions asked.
No going into town right now.
Yes, Paul.
You hear?
Not here.
Bob Ewell, his daughter Mayella. No truant officer could keep any of the Ewells in school. No public health officer could free them from filth or disease. Good times or bad, they lived off the county, in a small cabin by the garbage dump near a small Negro settlement. And all Bob Ewell could hold on to that made him feel better than his nearest neighbors was that he scrubbed with lye soap in very hot water. His skin was white. Old Mr. Bob Ewell accused Tom Robinson of attacking his girl and had him put in jail. My brother Jem. Alabama must be playing in the Rose Bowl with Jem scoring the winning touchdown. That was the summer Dill came to us. Dill, who was to give us the idea of making Boo Radley come out.
Hey! Hey, Dill!
His real name was Charles Baker Harris, and he'd been sent here to spend the summer with an aunt. We came to know Dill as a pocket murderer, whose head teemed with eccentric plans, strange longings, and quaint fancies.
Hey, want to see something? Hey, look at these.
2 little statues carved out of soap. Girl could be you, and maybe boy's Jem.
Got it from the knothole in the Radley tree. Nathan Radley.
Howdy do, Mr. Nathan.
Afternoon.
When old Mr. Radley died, some folks thought Boo might come out. But they had another thing coming. Boo's older brother, Nathan, that was him, moved in and took his father's place. At least Nathan would speak to us. Looking back for a place to begin, perhaps it would be what happens next.
Now he's in there all by himself.
Wonder what he does. Looks like he'd stick his head out the door sometime.
Oh, he goes out when it's pitch dark. I've seen his tracks in our backyard many a morning. One night, I heard him scratching at the back screen.
Wonder what he looks like.
Judging from his tracks, he's about 6.5 feet tall. He eats raw squirrels and any cats he can catch. What teeth he have are yellow and rotten. His eyes pop out, and most of the time, he drools.
Let's make him come out.
You dare me?
Don't go near it, Jen.
So there.
Someone at the window! Look at the curtain!
He's watching me? He saw me?
Don't you ever do that again. If you get killed, but with Atticus already so old, what would become of me?
Where'd you get that chewing gum?
It was sticking in the knothole.
That tree? Spit it out right now.
Well, I was just getting the flavor.
Suppose Boo Radley put it there. Suppose it's poison. You go gargle.
Oh, would that take the taste out of my mouth?
I have an idea. Let's throw a pebble against the door. And as soon as he comes out, say we wanna buy him an ice cream. That'll seem friendly. Maybe if he sat a spell with us, he'd feel better.
But how do you know we don't feel good now?
How do you feel you've been stuck up for 100 years with nothing but cats to eat? Course, if you'd rather I'd throw the pebble.
Better leave it to me. How many times do I have to show you that?
Jim? Just what were you about to do, Jim?
Nothing, sir.
I don't want any of that. Tell me.
I was gonna throw a pebble to get Boo Radley to come out.
Why?
Because, sir, we thought he might enjoy us.
I see. Son, I'm gonna tell you something and tell you one time. Don't bother that man. There's something I'd like to ask. If you'll do it, you'll get along better with all kinds. You see, you never really understand a person till you consider things from his point of view, till you climb into his skin and walk around in it.
Sir?
But I expect I'm asking too much.
I've got a much better plan. See ya.
I've been meaning to ask, Atticus, do you defend niggers?
Of course I do, Scout. Don't say nigger. That's common.
That's what everybody at school says.
From now on, it'll be everybody less one. You aren't old enough to understand some things yet, Scout, but there's been high talk around town that I shouldn't do much about defending Tom Roberts. But I'm going to defend that man.
Why?
Scout, every lawyer gets at least one case in his lifetime that affects him personally. This one's mine, I guess.
Well, then, are we gonna win it?
No, honey.
But then why?
Simply because we were licked 100 years before we began is no reason for us not to try to win. Scout, keep your head up, even if things turn ugly. Why reasonable people go stark raving mad when anything involving a Negro comes up is something I don't try to understand.
Mr. Finch?
More company. Coming up here.
Rather speak with you down here.
Then we'd better talk. Scout, you stay in mind, Calpurnia.
Well, I wanna know what's happening.
You'll stay here.
They moved Tom Robinson to the county jail this afternoon. I don't expect trouble, but I can't guarantee that there won't be any.
Don't be foolish, Heck. This is Macon.
I'm just uneasy, that's all.
Trial will probably begin day after tomorrow. You can keep him till then, can't you?
It's just that old Sarum bunch. You know how they do when they get all shinnied up. I don't see why you touched this case in the first place. You've got everything to lose. Heck,
That boy might go to the chair, but he's not going until the truth is told. And you know well as I what the truth is.
Well, I just thought I'd keep you informed.
And I appreciate it. Thank you, Harry.
Sure. Well, take care of yourself now.
Scout, you'll be in bed by the time I get back, so I'll say goodnight now.
Where are you going?
Out. You mind Calpurnia?
The tension in the town about the approaching trial was getting drum tight. Then later, instead of going to bed, Jim said he thought he'd go downtown for a while. I decided I was coming too, and there was no stopping Dill. We thought Atticus was probably by his office, so we went over. But he wasn't. We were getting uneasy. We came around by the courthouse, and when we did, we noticed something peculiar. There was a light over the door to the jailhouse.
There he is. I just wanted to see where he was so we could go home.
Well, after all this run around town, we might at least...
Shh.
Cars.
Get down.
The way it looked to us, Atticus was quite calm. He seemed to be expecting exactly what was coming.
He in there, Mr. Finch?
He is, and he's asleep. Don't wake him up.
You know what we're here for. Step aside from the door, Mr. Finch.
You can turn around and go home again, Walter.
Won't do that.
I'm gonna see...
Scout, wait!
Hey, Atticus!
Scout?
Couldn't hang on to her.
Jim, go home. Take Scout and Dill and go home.
I'll send him home.
Don't you touch him!
I'm telling you to.
Don't do Scout. Don't kick folks.
Oh, but he...
No, Scout.
Ain't nobody gonna do Jen that way.
All right, Mr. Finch, you get him out of here.
I'll give you 15 seconds.
I ain't going.
Please, Jim. Take them and go.
No, sir.
Get him out of the way!
Cunningham? Mr. Cunningham, is that you? Mr. Cunningham, don't you remember me? I'm Jean Louise Finch. I go to school with your boy Walter. Well, he is your boy, ain't he? Ain't he, sir? Knew he was your boy. Maybe he told you about me, 'cause I beat him up one time. He was real nice about it. Tell Walter hey for me, won't you? What's going on? Can't anybody tell me? Mr. Cunningham, what's the matter?
Ain't nothing the matter, little lady. And I'll tell my boy he said hey. Let's clear out of here, boys.
They're going.
Yes, it looks that way.
Atticus, can we go home now?
Yes, it looks like we can go home now.
Mr. Finch, they gone.
They're gone, Tom. They won't bother you anymore.
Thank you, Mr. Finch.
We're going to have a busy time. Better get your sleep. Good night, Tom.
Atticus, what was it we did, Mr. Cunningham?
Scout, I think you made him stand in my shoes for a minute.
In the midst of faults and failures, stand by me.
Stand by me.
In the midst of faults and failures, stand by me.
Stand by me.
When I do the best I can, and my friends misunderstand, thou knowest all about me. Stand by me.
Stand by me.
The following Monday, Atticus asked us to stay home. And for a while, we did. People were streaming into town like it was Saturday. Seemed like the whole county was coming in for Tom Robinson's trial. By the time we got there, the trial was already started. A Mr. Gilmer from Abbotsville was taking testimony from Heck Tate.
And could you say it to the jury, Mr. Tate? Who called you?
Well, I was called by Bob, by Mr. Bob Yule yonder one night.
Oh, what now? sir.
The night of November 21st, I was leaving my office to go home when Mr. Yule came in. Very excited he was and said to get to his house quick. Some Negro attacked his girl. Found her lying on the floor and she was pretty well beat up. I asked her who hurt her and she said it was Tom Robinson. I asked her if he beat her up like that and she said yes, he did. I asked her if he took advantage of her and she said yes, he had. Well, I went down to the Robinsons' home and brought him back up here and she identified him as the one. That's about all there was to it.
Thank you.
Any questions, Atticus?
Yes. Mr. Tate, you say Mayella Yule was mighty banged up. In what way? Just describe her injuries, heck.
Well, there was already bruises coming in on her arms, and she had a black eye starting.
Black eye? In which eye?
Let's see, her left.
Her left. Her left facing you, or her left looking the way you were?
That'd make it her right. It was a right eye, Mr. Finch, I remember now. She was mighty banged up on that side of her face.
That's all, heck. Thank you.
Mr. Robert Yule.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Swear to God.
Mr. Robert Yule?
That's my name, Captain.
And are you the father of Mayella Yule?
Well, if I ain't, it's too late now. Her ma's dead. Are you the father of Mayella Yule? Yes, sir. Get this straight. There will be no audibly obscene speculations from anybody in this courtroom on any subject. Do you understand me, Mr. Yule? Mr. Gilmer?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Yule, please tell us exactly in your own words what happened on the evening of November the 21st.
Well, I was coming in from the woods with a load of kindling. And then I heard Mayella screaming like a stuck hog inside the house.
She was screaming?
Oh, she was raising this holy racket, so I dropped my load and run up to the window as fast as I could. And I seen that black nigger down yonder attacking my Mayella! Quiet!
Sit down. Sit down.
Mr. Yule, you'll keep your testimony within the confines of Christian English usage, if that's possible. Proceed, Mr. Gilmer.
Mr. Yule, did you see the defendant attacking your daughter?
Yes, I did.
And then what did you do?
Well, I runs for hectate as quick as I could. I know who it was, all right. Passed by my house every single day. Lives down yonder in that nigger nest. Oh, Judge, I've asked this county for 15 years to get rid of that nigger nest. They're dangerous to live around. Besides, they're valuing my property.
That's all.
His property, we'll see about that.
Thank you, Mr. Yule.
If you don't mind, there's some questions I'd like to ask.
Sure.
Thank you. You heard the sheriff's testimony, Mr. Yule. Would you agree with his description of Mayella's injuries?
Yes.
He said that there were bruises already coming in on her arms, that her face was mighty banged up.
Holds with Tate.
He said she had a black eye in her right.
I holds with Tate.
Will you write your name, just to show us?
I most certainly will. How do you think I sign my relief checks?
Clearly now, so the jury can see.
What's so interesting?
He's left-handed.
That's it.
What's my being left-handed have to do with anything? He's trying to take advantage of me! You're tricking lawyer!
That's all, Mr. Yule.
Her right eye was black, so it had to be someone left-handed.
Mayella Violet Yule.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Mayella Violet Yule, please tell us in your own words exactly what happened on the evening of November the 21st. Where were you at dusk on that evening?
Well, I was on the porch, and then he came around and Well, Pop had brought up this old chifferobe for chopping for kindling. He told me to chop it up, but I wasn't feeling strong. So then he came around.
And who is he?
That and yonder, Robinson.
And then what happened?
Well, I said to him, come here, boy, and chop up this chifferobe. I got a nickel for you, and then he came in the yard, and I went in the house, and before I knew it, he was at me. He grabbed me around the neck, and he hit me again and again.
Go on, Mayella.
And then he took advantage of me.
Well, did you kick and fight back?
I kicked and hollered as loud as I could.
And then what happened?
I don't remember too good. Papa came in and started yelling, who done it? And then I fainted.
That's all. For now.
Miss Mayella.
You won't answer a word long as you keep mocking me like that.
Ma'am.
Keep saying ma'am and Miss Mayella. I don't have to take his sass.
That's just Mr. Finch's way. We've done business in this court for years, and he's always been courteous. Atticus, let's get on and let the record show that the witness has not been sassed.
Thank you. Do you love your father, Miss Mayella?
Love him? What you mean?
Is he good to you? Is he easy to get along with?
He does tolerable,
except when?
I said he does tolerable.
Except when he's riled. When he's drinking. Has he ever beaten you?
Answer the question, Miss Mayella.
My pa's never touched a hair on my head.
We've had a good chat. Now we better get to the case. You say you asked Tom Robinson to come bust up a what was it?
A chifferobe.
All right. Now to what happened. You say Tom Robinson caught you from behind. Is that right?
Yes.
You say he caught me and choked me and took advantage of me. Is that right?
That's what I said.
Now, do you remember him beating you about the face? Sure enough, he choked you. All this time you were fighting back, remember? But do you remember him beating you about the face? It's an easy question, Miss Mayella, so I'll ask it again. Do you remember him beating you about the face?
No, I don't reckon that. I mean, yes. Yes, I do. He hit me.
Will you identify the man who attacked you?
I will. That's yonder.
Tom, stand up. Let Miss Mayella have a good long look at you.
Scout, Reverend, his left hand. He's crippled.
Is this the man, Miss Mayella? Is this the man who attacked you?
Most certainly is.
Then how?
How? I don't know. I said it happened.
Objection! Oh, sit down, Horace.
Miss Mayella, who beat you up? Tom Robinson or your father? Why don't you tell the truth, child? Didn't Bob Yule beat you up?
I got something to say, and I ain't gonna say no more. That man yonder took advantage of me, and if you fine fancy gentlemen don't want to do nothing about it, then you're all a bunch of yellow stinking cowards. Stinking cowards, a lot of you. Y'all fancy ass don't come to nothing, Mr. Finch. Y'all Mammon and Miss Mallory don't come to nothing.
That's all. You can step down now. Sir, the state rests.
How about we try to wind up this afternoon? Atticus?
I call Tom Robinson.
Sorry, sir. It's all right, Tom. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I swear.
You're Tom Robinson, 25 years of age, married, with 3 children. Were you acquainted with Mayella Violet Yule?
Yes, sir. I walk by her place going to and from the field every day. I went there lots of times.
Under what circumstances?
Seems like every single time she'd have something for me to do. Chopping kindling, toting water for her.
Were you paid for your services?
No, sir, but I was glad to do it.
Tom, what happened to you on the evening of November the 21st?
Mr. Finch, I was going home as usual that evening when I passed by the Ewell place. Miss Mayella on the porch like she said she were, and she says to step on the chair yonder and grab the box from on top of the chiffer robe. And just as I done so, she grabbed me around the legs, Mr. Finch.
Tom, what did she do then?
She said she never had her arms around a grown man before. She might as well start with me. She said, hug me back. I said, Miss Mayella, let me out of here. I tried to run, but she got her back in the door. I had to push her, Mr. Finch. I didn't want to harm her, but just as I done so, Mr. Ewell howled through the window.
And then what happened?
I was running so fast, sir, I don't know what happened.
Tom, did you attack Mayella Ewell?
I did not, sir.
Did you harm her in any way?
I did not.
Then why did you run?
Mr. Finch, if you was black like me, you'd be scared too.
Your witness, Mr. Gilmer.
You're pretty good at busting up chiffer ropes and kindling with one hand, aren't you?
I'd reckon so, sir.
Strong enough to choke the life out of a woman.
I'd never done that.
Oh, but you're strong enough.
I'd reckon so, sir.
Had her eyes on her for a long time, hadn't you, boy?
No, sir. I never looked at her.
Oh, then you're a mighty fine gentleman, it seems. Did all this for not one penny?
No, sir. I felt right sorry for her. She seemed to be trying more than the rest of them.
You felt sorry for her? You felt sorry for her? Oh, he felt sorry for her. Then tell me, boy, why did you run?
I was scared, sir.
Scared you'd have to face up to what you did?
No. Scared I have to face up to what I didn't do.
Are you being impudent to me, boy?
I didn't go to be.
With the court's permission.
Go ahead.
Gentlemen, this case is not a difficult one. It requires no minute sifting of complicated facts. This case is as simple as black and white. You see, the state has not produced one iota of evidence that the crime Tom Robinson is charged of ever took place. It has instead relied upon the testimony of two witnesses. Witnesses whose testimony has not only been called into serious question upon a cross-examination, but flatly contradicted by the defendant. I have nothing but pity in my heart for the chief witness of the state. But my pity does not extend to her putting a man's life at stake. And this is what she's done. Done it in an effort to rid her of her guilt. Her father saw what happened. And what did he do? There is circumstantial evidence Mayella Ewell was beaten, savagely, but by someone who led almost exclusively with his left hand.
Save me now! You chicken lying lawyer! I'm gonna leave you here! You'll be fined for contempt!
So, a quiet, respectable Negro man who had the unmitigated temerity to feel sorry for a white woman is on trial for his life. He's had to put his word against the word of two white accusers. And I need not remind you of their conduct here in this court. Their cynical confidence that you gentlemen would go along with them on the assumption that evil assumption that all Negroes lie, that all Negroes are basically immoral, an assumption one associates with minds of their caliber. I am confident you gentlemen will review without passion the evidence you've heard, come to a verdict, and restore this defendant to his family. In the name of God, do your duty.
Sure is, Scout.
My brother thought it a favorable indication. Meanwhile, nobody moved about. Nobody left. Then suddenly, it was happening.
This court will come to order. The defendant will rise.
The jury finds the defendant guilty.
How could they find him?
They're not gonna hurt Tom Robinson. Your father will do something. Mr. Finch won't let him.
Tom Robinson guilty, but Atticus,
Come on, we're going home. Miss Jean Louise, stand up. Your father's passing.
In the midst of tribulation, stand by me.
Stand by me.
In the midst of tribulation, stand by me.
Stand by me.
When the host of hell assail and my strength begins to fail, thou who's never lost a battle, stand by me. Stand by me.
When we spoke to Atticus later, Jem started to cry. He wanted to know how the jury could do it. I'd never seen my father so close to bitter. I don't know how, he told us, but they did it. They've done it before, they did it today, and they'll do it again. And it seems that when they do it, only children weep. As for Bob Ewell, he walked out of the courtroom expecting to find himself the town hero. But turns out, only a few really believed him. Atticus had destroyed his last shred of credibility. Ewell started making terrible threats. This time, we should have believed him. This time, he was telling the truth. I hurried home ahead of Jem and Dill. I didn't want them to see me checking the knothole in the tree. What I found...
cement. Someone ain't going to do with cement. There's cement in the knothole.
I filled it. You plug them up with cement when they're sick. You don't know that, Miss Jean Louise.
Tree don't look sick to me. Whoever carved those soap statues, it wasn't him.
Scout, why'd you run ahead? Scared old Mr. Ewell?
Not one bit.
Why's he gotta stand outside the courthouse talking so mean? His side won.
I'm absolutely surprised at you children. Did Atticus give you permission to go to court? And why were you sitting over on the colored balcony? Several people mentioned it. Wasn't it right close over there?
Hush, Stephanie.
Do you think it's wise?
We made this town this way for them. They might as well learn to cope with it.
Well, excuse me. Don't suppose they understood anyway. But it's too bad you had to see your daddy get beat.
Don't listen to what she says about Atticus. There are some men born to do the unpleasant jobs for us. Your father's one of them. We are so rarely called on to be Christians. But when we are, we've got men like Atticus to go for us. As I waited in that courthouse, I thought, Atticus Finch won't win. He can't win. But he's the only man to keep a jury out so long in a case like this. It's just a baby step, but it's a step. I'm going to my kitchen now. I'm going to bake a cake. And it would please me if you'd all come over and have some.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Tom Robinson was taken to Enfield Prison Farm about 70 miles away. Atticus thought Tom had a good chance for a new trial, but Tom just couldn't hope anymore. Then suddenly, death was among us.
Hey there, Mr. Finch. Got some news for you, Mr. Finch. Don't you want to hear, Mr. Finch?
Atticus!
Cal, what is it, Heck?
I'll tell you. They done shot that nigger.
Tom's dead.
Heck.
He was running. It was during their exercise period. They said he just broke into a blind raven charge at the fence and started to climb over. Right in front of them.
Oh my God.
They put 17 bullet holes in him.
Didn't they try and stop him? Didn't they give him any warning?
They shouted, and they even fired a few shots in the air. They didn't start shooting at him till he was almost over the fence.
I told him we had a chance, but I couldn't say we had more than a chance. I suppose Tom was tired of white man's chances.
Ain't it just like a nigger to cut and run?
Come inside, children.
Do you have anything more you'd like to say, Mr. Yule?
Yes. I'll say there's one down and 2 to go. I'll let you guess who's next.
I think I'd keep a shotgun loaded with 00.
I can't believe Bob Yule would ever really come after me. But if he does, I'll be waiting.
I expect you would. You take care of yourself now.
Atticus was underestimating what anger and sick frustration could do to an already unbalanced man. The night we found out, there was a pageant at the school auditorium, and Jem said he'd take me. It was to be our longest journey together.
You scared? Scared of Hanks?
I'm too old.
You're scared now because we're passing Boo Radley's place.
I ain't scared. Turn on your light again.
Something's wrong with it. Take my hand.
Jem, are you afraid?
Be real quiet, Scout.
It's just the thunderstorm getting closer.
No, not that.
I hear.
Scout, run! Run!
Scout, where are you? Your daddy's gonna miss you, boy! Come here, you! I've got you now! Ah, you're not getting away from me! Ha ha! Come here, you!
What is it? Who is it? Where are you? Jem! Jem, oh my God! Cal! Call Dr. Reynolds! Tell him urgent! You can put him right there. Scout! Scout! Scout, where are you?
I'm all right. I'm okay.
Scout, what happened to you?
They did something awful to Jem. Atticus, is Jem dead?
No. He's unconscious, and it looks like his arm's broken.
Scout, all right?
Yes, she's all right. Cal, call Dr. Reynolds. Tell him somebody's been after my children.
After 10 forevers, Dr. Reynolds finished with Jem. He said it looked like somebody tried to wring his arm off, and it'd be a while before Jem could play football again. He added his assurance that Jem wasn't dead, only under sedation. Meanwhile, Hecate had been investigating, and when he came to the porch, there was something odd about it.
Did you find anything? I can't conceive anyone who'd do this. Heck, what is it?
Bob Yule's lying on the ground yonder with a kitchen knife stuck up under his ribs. He's dead, Mr. Finch.
I thought I was the one he'd come after.
Now you know better. He broke Jem's arm and he grabbed you. Then what happened?
Oh, someone came from to help. Someone.
Well, who was it?
Well, there he is, Mr. Tate. He'll tell you his name. Hey, Boo.
Scout, this is Mr. Arthur Radley. Perhaps you'd like to take him in. You can sit with Jem. Well, I suppose the proper thing to do would be to... I mean, Jim's a minor. It'll come before the county court.
What will, Mr. Finch?
Well, of course, it's clear-cut self-defense.
Mr. Finch, do you think Jim killed Bob Ewell? Jim didn't do it.
Then who?
I'll tell you, Bob Ewell fell on his knife. He killed himself.
Heck, I can't go about telling my children something they know isn't true.
I hate to fight you when you're like this, Mr. Finch. You've been under a strain no man should ever have to go through, which is why you may not be putting two and two together.
Heck, what about
I'm just saying there's a black man dead for no reason, and the white man who's dead is responsible for it. So, let the dead bury the dead this time, Mr. Finch.
Heck, man.
I've never heard tell it's against the law for a citizen to do his utmost to prevent a crime from happening, which is exactly what Boo Radley did. Now, you may say it's my duty to tell the whole town about it and not to hush it up. But you know what happened then? All the ladies in Maycomb, including my wife, will be knocking on his door and bringing them angel food cakes. It's my way of thinking. Dragging him with all his shy ways into the limelight, that's a sin. I may not be much, Mr. Finch, but I'm still the sheriff of Maycomb County, and Bob Ewell fell on his knife. Good night, sir.
Arthur, thank you for my children. Arthur.
I remember. The moon had come out, the storm had passed over, and I was being escorted by Boo Radley. He went inside and I never saw him again. But I remember standing on that porch, I saw something else. A young boy and girl, shouting, running to meet their father coming home. The children excited about surprises found in the knothole. And then a stormy night, and those children need him.
Atticus, what had Tate said about dragging Boo into the limelight? I mean, that'd be sort of like shooting a mockingbird, wouldn't it?
Yes. Yes, I suppose it would. Come on inside now. We can sit with Jim.
All those ideas we had about Boo Radley, but Atticus, he's real nice.
Most people are, Scout, when you finally see them.
When my foes in battle array undertake to stop my way, thou who saved Paul and Silas, stand by me.
Clear.
We have work lights, please.
Thank you, downstage.
Hey, please watch out. That comes over here.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah, he said flip it around. No, he did flip it around. Yeah.
Just flip it down, flip it up.
This way?
Yeah, well,
It's the other way.
just go the other way.
Yeah.
Because otherwise that's going to flop.
Yes. Actually, the middle platform.
And then two sets of railings, one for you to last wall on. Two sets of railings to go on.
Okay. Once this wall goes on, Jen, Olivia, put the railings on.
You got 4.5 minutes right now.
Thank you.
Need help? Here, I got the bottom. Okay, I might need some help. All the wrong direction. Watch out, Peach.
Can someone throw me
I swear it's only you.
Everybody else can start moving through
Who wants to help me move this?
5.5
More
minutes.
people.
That's right.